The New York City skyline sparkled like a sea of diamonds under the moonlight. High above the honking taxis and the bustle of street vendors, a boy stood alone on a narrow rooftop. His clothes were torn at the sleeves, his shoes barely holding together. In his hands, he held a weather-worn violin, the only thing of value he owned. His name was Noah Reyes. Every evening, Noah climbed 2 different rooftops across Manhattan, playing his violin for the stars and the city below. Sometimes people dropped money into a tin he'd tied to a rope and dangled down to the street. Most of the time, though, no one noticed. But Noah didn't mind. Music was his escape, his one beautiful truth in a life full of silence and shadows.
That night, dark clouds rolled in. Rain began to drizzle, gentle at first, then steady. But Noah kept playing, his fingers dancing over the strings with aching precision. The raindrops kissed the violin's surface as if they too wanted to feel the music. Unbeknownst to Noah, he wasn't alone. Across from the rooftop he stood on, just 20 feet away, was a towering luxury building, the Astoria Heights. On the 23rd floor, leaning on a rain-slick balcony railing, stood Isabella Carter, the daughter of tech billionaire Marcus Carter. Her life was nothing like Noah's. Limousines, media attention, designer clothes, curated smiles. Her world was polished but hollow. She'd been to every gala, posed for every charity photo op, but never heard anything that stirred her soul. Until that night. The sound of Noah's violin floated through the rain like a secret only she could hear. Isabella held her breath, stepping closer to the edge of her balcony. Her golden hair was damp, her silk robe clinging to her skin, but she didn't care. She saw him, a silhouette in the rain, playing as if the world depended on it, and for a long moment time stopped. The next night Isabella waited on the balcony again, and again Noah returned. He didn't see her at first, hidden behind ivy and darkness, but she saw him. Every note he played, every furrow of his brow, every glance up to the stars, as if asking for permission to dream. By the 3rd night, she gathered the courage to speak. "You're really good!" she called out into the night. Noah stopped playing, startled. He looked around, then spotted her, a girl in a silk robe glowing under the balcony light. I didn't know anyone was listening," he said shyly. "I have been every night since the rain," she smiled, brushing wet hair from her face. "What's your name?" "Noah," he replied. "I'm Isabella." From then on they talked every night. She brought blankets to the balcony. He stayed longer on the rooftop. Some nights he played songs just for her. Other nights they shared stories, their voices floating between the buildings like invisible letters. He told her about growing up in Queens, about his mom who passed away when he was 14, about teaching himself to play using a busted violin someone threw out. She told him about living in a golden cage, how her father controlled everything, who she saw, what she studied, even what charities she could care about, how she longed to feel something real. Noah laughed softly one night. "You're the richest girl in the city, but you envy the poor boy with a violin." She smiled, because the poor boy with a violin knows what freedom sounds like. One evening, Isabella took a risk. She left her penthouse and found the service stairs. She climbed down to the rooftop below, the one Noah always played on. When he saw her there, soaked and shivering, he panicked. "You can't be here," he said. "What if someone sees you? Your father—" "I don't care." She stepped closer. "I had to know if you're real, if this," she gestured between them, "is real." Noah swallowed hard. She was even more beautiful up close. Not because of her looks, but because of her sincerity. So he played for her again. This time just feet away, a melody that rose and fell like a heartbeat, and when the last note faded, they were both crying. That night, their fingers touched, and that night they kissed, Under the stars, on a rain-drenched rooftop, where money meant nothing and music meant everything, days turned into weeks. They met in secret, sometimes on rooftops, sometimes in alleyways behind art galleries or old bookstores. Noah played, Isabella listened, and slowly they fell in love, not with status or stories, but with each other's truths. But fairy tales don't last long in the real world. One night, Noah waited on the rooftop, violin in hand, but Isabella never came. No lights on the balcony, no shadow waiting, just silence. He returned the next night, and the next, still nothing. Then, 3 days later, a man in a suit approached him outside a subway entrance. "Noah Reyes?" The man asked coldly. "Who's asking?" "I work for Marcus Carter." Noah froze. "You are to stay away from Isabella. She is not to be contacted, not spoken to, not seen." "What, is she okay?" "She's being protected from distractions. You were a distraction." "She's not a possession," Noah snapped. "You can't just keep her locked away." The man stepped closer. "You were warned. There won't be another." And just like that, Noah's world went silent again. For a week he didn't play. Couldn't. His fingers trembled. The city felt emptier than ever. But love has a way of fighting back. One night, as he walked past the Astoria Heights, something fluttered down from above. A small paper airplane, made from notebook paper. He picked it up. Scrawled in familiar handwriting were 3 words. "Don't give up." Noah looked up. And for just a second he saw her, Isabella, pulling back from the balcony, smiling through tears. Hope returned like a flame in a storm. Noah had an idea, a dangerous one that could get him arrested or worse. He spent the next few days composing a new song, his best yet, a song that told their story, that carried every memory in each note. Then, on the night of the Carter Foundation Gala, when half the city's elite would be watching, Noah climbed to the rooftop across from the Astoria again. He connected a small speaker to his old phone, synced a live stream, and set up his tripod. He began to play, and the city listened. People stopped in the streets. The live stream spread like wildfire. "Rooftop violinist serenades billionaire's daughter." The hashtags exploded. In the ballroom below, Isabella heard the familiar sound. She pushed through the crowd, past her father, up the stairs, through the emergency exit, and onto the balcony. There he was, playing just for her. Her father followed, furious. "What do you think you're doing?" Marcus Carter shouted across the rooftops, but Noah didn't stop playing. Isabella turned to her father. "You built towers, Dad. He built a bridge, and I'm crossing it." She kicked off her heels and climbed down the fire escape toward Noah. The city cheered from the streets below. The live stream crossed 1 million views in minutes. It was messy, reckless, and beautiful. And when Isabella reached the rooftop, she ran into Noah's arms. They kissed. Not a secret kiss, not a hidden one, but a kiss the whole world saw. The days that followed were chaos, media frenzy, paparazzi, headlines, but something had changed. The public didn't hate Noah, they adored him. His music touched hearts, his story inspired millions. Marcus Carter had a choice, crush his daughter's happiness or embrace it. To everyone's shock, he chose the latter. Maybe because of the backlash, maybe because deep down, he saw something in Noah that reminded him of who he once was, a dreamer. Noah and Isabella didn't care about the headlines. They kept meeting on rooftops. Only now they didn't have to hide. 1 year later, a new concert was held in Central Park. The rooftop violinist lived with Isabella Carter. Noah wore a second-hand tuxedo. Isabella introduced him on stage with a trembling smile. He played the same melody he played on the night they first kissed, and as the city listened, they knew this wasn't a story of rich girl meets poor boy. It was a story of 2 souls who found each other between balconies and broken strings. in the silence where the heart listens best, and they never stopped listening.
If my friends like the story from anywhere, please like it and also subscribe to the channel. Thank you.